boil them for 5 or 10 minutes maybe, and at that point they'd actually use it as a tea substitute. As far as teas go, though, I wouldn't say it tastes real good. It has kind of a bitter flavor to it. And you have to be really careful about using natural plants, for substitutes. And it certainly does have medicinal uses as well. The scientific name is Ephedra viridis, and I'm sure you guys have heard of the drug ephedrine. It comes from the same plant family that ephedrine was actually first isolated from. They've tried to isolate it from this plant growing here in the southwest, but they've only found it in trace amounts, nothing that they could actually commercially harvest, thankfully. But they actually have found pseudoephedrine in it, which is an ingredient in cough syrups. So maybe if you're sick, you drink some of that tea to help break up your congestion or something like that. It turns out, though, that it also has another use, and if you cook your tea too long, it can turn it a dark brown, or it also has an excellent laxative. So if you're going to try it, you want to be close to home, I guess. We have a couple different large or dominant tree species here as well. A type of pine, the pinyon pine. And if you've had pine nuts before, you're actually somewhat familiar with that tree as well. That's actually the tree that it comes from. And a lot of animals living in the park actually rely on some of those nuts for survival. And then my favorite species is the Utah juniper. It's the one that you see growing here on the side of the wash. This tree is actually very well adapted for surviving here in the desert as well. And you can notice that some of the blue berries among the leaves there, those are actually cones. It's actually not technically a berry because it's not a flowering plant. The bee called a berry has to come from a flower. So this is actually a type of cone that you're seeing up here. And when it's first developed, it looks like a little pine cone. As it kind of continues to develop, it looks more and more like a berry. But if you pick up one of those off the ground, you notice something pretty interesting about it. Does anybody use chapstick? What do we use chapstick? Yeah, seal the moisture in your lips, keep them from dehydrating out in the hot sun, right? Well, a lot of the plants actually growing here in the desert actually had the same idea. And if you take one of these little cones and you rub it between your fingers, you'll notice something kind of happens to the light blue color. So let's do a little experiment here. You didn't get it all off there, so you kind of look close. If you look real close, you definitely. What color is it now? It's kind of a brownish color. I picked it off the ground, obviously, so it's kind of dried out. If I were to pick it off the tree, which I didn't want to do, it would be kind of like light green color on the underside. But you definitely notice it's not a light blue color anymore. That is actually a wax coating that helps seal the moisture in that cone and keeps it from dehydrating out in hot summer sun. So as a result, this plant is adapted to live in a dry area